What's up everybody, Kier Gomes here, and welcome back. Today I'm going to bring you guys a little something special, a little treat. I know how much you guys love seeing unboxings on this channel. In fact, the last couple that I've done have been pretty good performing videos. And as well, it's been a while since I've done a tutorial. It's been at least a couple of months since I've taught anything on this channel. So today I'm going to kind of combine the two. We are going to unbox some mail that I got from a friend, and depending on the contents of this package, I'll use what's inside of it to teach you guys a little something. All that and more coming up, but before we get into it, please do drop a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. And without further ado, let's roll that intro and get you guys on your way.
Let's go.
All right, so to start us off, we are going to be taking a look at what is inside of this box here. This was a package from my buddy Lorenzo Cobo. He is also the designer and creator of Paperwave playing cards. He was offloading some decks recently, and he had a few that I wanted, and he's always giving me a good price. So really appreciate that. We're going to see what's inside. This thing is really on there, man. Woo. That was not easy, but I guess well packaged. I definitely wouldn't have to worry about somebody stealing these. All right, so we got 3 decks in here. 2 of them I paid for and 1 was a gift. So I'm really excited. Let's see what we got. Okay, so the first thing that Lorenzo sent was a Paperwave V2. These are the Glyph edition. If you guys haven't seen, I reviewed this prototype on my channel. Really cool deck of cards, one that I kind of recently fell back in love with. So can never have too many Paperwave decks. Thank you. All right, now these next 2 things are decks that I did pay for, and we have one of them, which is the Orbit Cardistry Con reprints. This is an opened one, which is okay. I actually have this deck already. Basically brand new. If you guys don't know these are basically the V1 Orbits, but at 2019 Cardistry Con, the Orbit crew announced that they had reprinted the V1s with some updates, thinner borders, different Ace of Spades, updated courts, things like that, but still really the heart and soul of the V1, and definitely one of my favorite decks. If you guys have checked out my ranking the Orbit episode, or if you've checked out my top 5 Orbit episode, this deck highly towards the top on both. All right, now the last one. This one's sealed. This is the Anyone Worldwide black logos. These are the original logos, not the cap logos. I like these ones better. They're 2-way. Really nice deck of cards, and this might be the one that I use for today's tutorial. I don't know, maybe. Lorenzo, thank you so much for sending over some decks. I appreciate you always giving me a good price when you're selling them. And as well, thank you for the Glyph deck. Really love it. All right, now let's talk about the tutorial. So it has been a while since I've done a tutorial on this channel. The last one that I did was kind of a revamped version of the Chicago opener. I had taught that on this channel before, so when I say revamped, I mean that I just did one with better quality as opposed to the one that I did a few years ago. And that kind of got me thinking. I have touched on a specific color change before. I did do a tutorial on a version of it, but the one that I'm going to teach you today is a little bit different. It's heavily inspired by the Bertram Change. If you guys are familiar with the Bertram Change, it's an amazing and very satisfying to do color change. It really is a great color change, probably my favorite, if not top 5 easily. And the version that I'm going to teach you today is kind of some original handling on the move, and it's definitely one that is geared more towards beginners or people with maybe smaller hands. But as well, it is a astonishing effect, and it's good for people that know the move already. So as usual, I'm going to be showing you guys a performance of the color change, then we're going to get into the mechanics and how to do it, and then I'll go over some performance tips depending on if you're doing it for a camera or for a live audience. I have decided we are going to use the black Anyone Worldwide logo deck, but in order for us to use this deck for the tutorial, we are going to have to break it in. So I'm going to break in these cards. All right, now that the deck has been broken in and it's feeling good, go ahead and grab yourself some cards and let's get into the tutorial. All right, now you guys have seen this performance before, but just to give you one more look, we're gonna take a card. In this case, it's the 3 of spades. If we just bend it, manipulate it a little bit, we can actually change it into the ace of spades. All right, now if you are a magician, you probably recognize some of these moves. This color change is heavily inspired by the Bertram Change. In fact, it doesn't have a name because I just feel like you can't really name it anything other than the Bertram Change. But this is a little bit easier of a way to do it, and also one that's just very satisfying to do when you're practicing. If you're doing this in performance, you're probably gonna wanna know like a good card control or just a really reliable double lift. But if you're just doing this in a cardistry or magic promo, or if you're just doing this for a video, it's fairly simple stuff, and here's what it looks like. So first thing you're gonna wanna do is get a double lift. Now the type of double lift you do is up to you. If you're a beginner, I would highly recommend learning one that you love, that works for you, and then just nail it. My favorite one is the strike double, and essentially all that is a quick push off of 2 cards and then quickly grabbing 2 cards as one with my index. So at speed, it looks really good. It's a very convincing double lift. It looks just like a regular deal, and now I have 2 cards. All right, so you're gonna do your double lift, and now you can discard the rest of the deck. If you have a spectator, you can just hand them the deck, or in this case, I'll just set them over here. So now it looks like you have 1 card. You're gonna take the card, you're gonna pinch it on the indices. So these numbers and suits in the corner, that's the index. You're gonna put it thumb and thumb, okay? And you're gonna have your your middle and index resting underneath like that. So that is the grip. All right, so you're gonna get your double, turn it over as 1. You're gonna discard the rest of the deck, either hand it out or do whatever. And now you're just holding this 1 card, okay? You can do some flourishy stuff, whatever you want as a convincer, but don't overdo it. So you're just holding 1 card, you're pinching it now, thumb and thumb on the indices, index and middle on the back, just like that. Now it's a good thing to keep this card or these cards in motion, especially if you don't want the spectator to know that it's more than 1 card. I like to bend it a little bit because the more it's moving, it's a big action, and it's gonna cover the split in the cards if there is one. So we did our double lift, we've got the single card, clamp, fingers on the back, and now we're just kind of bending the spine a little bit. And now in this motion and through this motion, we're gonna go to show the card one more time. So we're gonna tilt it up from this, we're gonna tilt it up like that to show it, and this is where the sleight comes in. So because our fingers are like this, we have our middle finger placed here, and that's gonna allow us to kind of drag the card while we're showing this into our Tenkai palm. Angles are really important here, so the card's moving, you wanna make sure you show it, and then that motion right there is the one you have to hide. And the easiest way to hide it is just to go high, then low for your swooping motion, and now your card is in Tenkai palm. And then we're gonna complete this last part, which is pinching the top of the card, and we're just gonna bring it in like this. So this is the card that we're gonna change, and we're gonna take it, we're gonna bring it in like this, pinch both cards, and pull it back up. So let's recap where we're at so far. We did our double lift. Now we've got a single card, in this case, the 8 of diamonds. We're gonna take the 8 of diamonds, and now we're gonna whoop, palm off that bottom card, and now it's in Tenkai. Now we're still holding this card. We can go, okay, now watch carefully. Use your hand and fingers as cover. Connect, there we go, let's get in here. Connect the 2, square them up, and then drag them out with the edges of your fingers to continue squaring the card to make it look as 1. Now at speed and with the right angles, this looks really convincing, and like I said, it is super fun to do. Just to make sure that we have it, let's go in super slow motion, okay? Strike double, it's 2 cards. So we're gonna do our double lift. Turn over the 2 cards as 1. As another little subtle convincer, I like to take my index finger and pop up the cards like that so that I can grab it. So it's gonna go like that. Double, with the index, pop it up. Now you're holding 2 cards. You can set this away. Thumb and index and middle like that. And then same action here. So now the card is like that. Remember, we're bending it to keep it in motion. We're gonna show it one more time. We're gonna let go with this hand. We're gonna let this hand drag that card into palm. We're gonna show it, cover, and then pinch and drag to square up. The easiest way to practice this is first to just practice getting into the Tenkai. So we have the Queen of Diamonds. I want to get that card into Tenkai. First thing you want to practice is just this motion here. Now the Tenkai palm is a little bit awkward at first to get into. When you drag this card, it's going to feel sometimes like it's getting stuck, or you're going to put it too low. Don't worry, you'll find it eventually. It's more of a rhythm. If you're doing this, you know, a few of these, you just kind of get in the flow of grabbing out that card. So practice it in pieces. First practice just getting the palm. Then once you have it, then you can practice maybe brushing the ink on the card, whatever convincer you want to do before the change. Now, if you want to do this color change in performance, like for a live audience, there's a couple different ways you can do it, but essentially what it's going to come down to is some sort of ambitious card, right, with like a goof. So let's say, for example, we wanted to do an effect for the spectator, and their card is the 10 of spades. We're going to take the 10 of spades, and we're going to drop it off right there in the middle, push it in, and if I snap my fingers, I should be able to bring the 10 of spades back to the top. Nope. Okay, well, you know what? We can fix this actually here. Let's see if we can just manipulate the ink. I think if it gets warm enough, we might be able to change it. I hope I didn't flash, but I think I did. I think I might have flashed, but it's not my fault. I have the light on, I am sweating, it's super hot, and these cards are getting nice and wet. And you guys are now equipped with everything you need to perform this legendary color change. All right, guys, so there is the move. That is kind of this alternate universe version of the Bertram Change. I really like it. I know I've had some people, other magicians, tell me that the hand covers too much of it, but to be honest, my hand is huge when I do Bertram. Even if I curl my fingers in as much as possible, my hand pretty much dominates it anyway. But as well, if you have smaller hands, I think it makes the move a little bit easier to get into, and it also makes it a little bit easier to complete the change without flashing, and you know, the smaller your hands are, the harder it is to do that. Anyway, I really hope you guys like it, and if you did, you can of course let me know by dropping a like on this video. In terms of tips for the move, just in general, if you're performing the trick live or on camera, the most important thing is just to manage your angles. If you're doing it for camera, it's very forgiving. You can kind of see where you're at. Like right now, you know, I can see in the monitor where my hand is and if I'm flashing. And that's pretty much the best place to start. It's gonna be a lot easier now that most of us are still staying at home and social distancing and not performing anyway. Best thing you could do would just be flip on your camera. You can use your phone camera, whatever, and just watch yourself do the move so you can learn those angles and learn what looks best for you. And then just directly apply that to your live performances. I would say that's probably the most important thing. But the other thing that you have to keep in mind, this change really works best as more of like a cover up for a goof, or it works best if maybe you're doing an ambitious card and you show the spectator a card, it's not theirs, and then you change it into theirs. By itself, the move looks good, like if it's in a montage or something, but this probably isn't something that you would do on its own without a surrounding effect. So that is up to you guys. Either way, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, I appreciate you taking the time to sit down, and if you made it this far, you are the real MVP, and I appreciate you. Of course, if you've made it this far into the video, you might as well give it a like, because there is something you liked about it, and it does make a huge difference to me. It actually allows me to make these videos even more. As well, I hope you'll consider subscribing for more awesome content just like this. And with all that being said, I hope all of you have a wonderful rest of your day. I know I will. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Ooh.